Blackmore.
Welcome.
Capcom, known for their legendary catalog of beat-em-up games, from Final Fight, Alien vs. Predator, and even Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Man, that is such a blur of a certain time period, man. The fact that I even still remember that game is like, honestly. But during the early mid-2000s, Capcom beat-em-up games ship was really trying to appeal more to the West. So, during that time, you will see things like Final Fight Streetwise was shaping up as well, and another little gem that would often get ignored. And this little gem I would like to talk about today is Beatdownfistofvengence. Because, man, I will be honest with you guys, I lost countless hours into this game. A pseudo-like open world game, sort of like in the Yakuza style or Shenmue, if you will, but on a smaller scale with different hub areas throughout the game. But with Beatdownfistofvengence, it's jank. It is pure jank, but there's a little diamond in the rough there if you can get past a lot of the jankiness aspects of it. We're going to be discussing similar to like how we did with Urban Reign, going over not only just story-wise, its origins, who even made this game, and just so many different caveats to this. So, kick your feet up, relax, and enjoy today's episode, folks, because you are in for a treat. Check it out. Beatdown comes from Caveat Inc., the team behind Dragon Guard and the Resident Evil rail shooters Umbrella and Dark Chronicles. Even Bullet Witch. So, according to the executive producer for the game, Tatsuya Minami, the game was pretty much created with the West in mind. They really wanted in more on the US market for crime-style games like this. And I'm sure they looked at games like Def Jam Fight for New York, The Warriors, San Andreas, and True Crime, just to name a few, in which you can definitely tell it has that early 2000s edgy look going on. The game takes place in the crime-ridden made-up city of Las Sombras. You play as one of the 5 gang enforcers, Raven, Jason G, Lola, Aaron, and Gina, who are betrayed by their cartel boss Zanetti, framed for a crime they didn't commit. Your mission is pretty simple: build a crew, take revenge, and take control of the criminal underworld. Each character has their own backstory, motivations, and fighting style, adding some nice replay value and personal stakes to the story, which I will say is pretty thoughtful, because you wouldn't think with a game like this, anything story-wise wouldn't be well fleshed out. Oh yeah, let's not forget, your choices actually matter in this game. How you interact with NPCs and rivals that you make throughout your playthroughs will shape the endings you get. Yes, there are multiple endings for this game. Now, Las Sombras is a pretty open world city where you can somewhat freely roam. But think of each area like its own zone. You'll visit bars, alleys, shady shops, police stations, hell, you can even bust open random ATMs you see around the city for some quick cash. All while avoiding cops, gangs, and random hit squads coming after you. Like I mentioned before, you can recruit by either convincing or beating down NPCs you come across in the game. Once you recruit them, they fight alongside you, every character having their own quirks and attributes, and from my recollection, you can even level them up too as well. You can even recruit the other playable characters into your crew and level them up as well. But just like classic Capcom games, there are ways you gotta go about being able to unlock certain characters and trigger certain events. Does anybody remember Game Facts? Yes, even your boy, growing up, kept a little piece of paper that I printed out of little unlockables for the shops and even just how to get the other characters. Yeah, your boy was very very prepared just to sit there and get everyone that I can. Your reputation in the city changes based on your actions too. Make too many public fights, the police will hound you. Get on the gang's bad side, they'll go after you on sight. You can even change clothes or get plastic surgery to alter your appearance, which was pretty unheard of during the time for a beat 'em up game like this. While group brawls are common, Beatdown also features a nice little one-on-one fight features against characters, giving it back that classic traditional fighting game aspect feel, letting you use your classics with grapples, combo juggles, and even weapons that you bring into the game, or even just that you find laying around during the match. It is a little janky at times too, I'm not even gonna lie. There is a heavy RPG element to the game. From earning money to buy items, to manage your gang's strength and morale, there's a surprising amount of depth. It's more than just mashing buttons in an afternoon. Like I mentioned before with recruiting NPCs, some fights after you win, you're given the options to interrogate, rob them, or just straight up just kill that NPC, which will lock you out of ever getting them, so always keep that in mind. Interrogating people can help with unlocking more items into the many different shops throughout the game. So it's very specific NPCs that you gotta go after. There is quite a bit of exploration on your end through trial and error and really just figuring that out. Because some of those characters that you do interrogate, they will come back, or other times it'll take a little while just for them to reappear again. Same goes for getting the other playable characters like I mentioned before through getting certain rank titles throughout your progress in the game. So I'm sure you can see the potential and the very ambitious nature of the game from all these different mechanics and features alone. So why didn't this game pan out like other Capcom titles during the time? Well, one, it was too complex for traditional beat-em-up fans and too clunky for open-world RPG lovers. That left it stuck in a weird middle ground niche for itself. A very overly ambitious game with lots of interesting ideas, but really couldn't break out of that identity crisis that it created for itself. There was also a lot of mixed reception. Critics really praised the ambitious nature of it, but slammed the repetitive combat, stiff controls, and the janky AI. Like I mentioned before, this game it is really just that old school pure jank. The game's dark, grim aesthetic also lacked the colorful charm of Capcom's past beat-em-ups that people were used to coming from them. You also have to remember, this came out during the era of many Japanese companies were trying to appeal so much more to the West by adding so much Western influences into their games, hoping that would grab everyone's attention. The early 2000s, like 2005, and then going onwards to the PS3 and 360 days, think of games like Final Fight Streetwise for the PS2, Lost Planet 2 for PS3 and 360, and Bionic Commando with Spencer during that time is really on that heavy Western influence, just for examples that I can give. In 2005, Devil May Cry 3 and God of War were redefining action games with their fluid combos and cinematic flair, so the timing and just the competition during Beatdown's release made it feel pretty dated in comparison, struggling to really capture that excitement like the other titles were pretty much doing. And a biggest thing, worst of all, of why it was so hindered, lack of marketing. So let's be real. Capcom didn't really push Beatdown like the other bigger franchises under its belt, even the smaller stuff that they had out. Without a strong promotional campaign, it slipped through the cracks. Just like I mentioned in my Urban Reign video, I didn't know a single thing about this game growing up if it wasn't for my older cousin introducing it to me and seeing it as a rental at my local Blockbuster or Hollywood theater, which I'm sure it's the case for many other people that just happen to stumble across this game during that point in time, or even years later of just finding it in some mom and pop shop. But here's the thing. Give Beatdownfistofvengence a try if you have a way to play this through an emulator. It's a bold mix of semi-open world freedom, RPG mechanics, and brutal street fighting that was way ahead of its time. If you're a fan of guilty, underdog-style games that dare to be different during that time, this one's worth a playthrough. As long as you can get past the jankiness of the game, you'll have a good time. But if you enjoyed today's video, please give a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can stay updated of any new video coming to the channel. That way you'll never miss anything that is coming through, because I have so many different ideas and things that I'm going to be demonstrating to you all very shortly. So if you really enjoyed this game right here, or are very curious on that, like I said, try that on a PS2 emulator if you have a way, or if you're able to snag a copy out there in the wild. But I'll be opening up a community vote tab too. What would you like to see next of these list of games that I'm going to be covering next? So yeah, I have so many different ideas of games I would love to tackle and talk about with you guys. So yeah, here is the first two right here that I'm going to be talking about. And which ones would you love to see first? Please let that be known in the community tab, or even in here in the comments as well. But this is Blackmore here, signing out. Catch you later, folks, and see you next time. And I will be getting the MMA video done too as well. This one I was able to push out a little bit more earlier. That way I can have some more time going over the MMA video and redefining it, fine-tuning it, because there is some things I need to tweak on there, and a lot of copyright stuff that I also need to double check and go over. That way it does not get flagged. So I hope you understand. But anyways, catch you later, folks. Peace.